and well, I guess the joy of a bullet flying through my head out of nowhere, and I'll never know why.
You gotta learn to love the salt. Love it.
Well, I understand that even though a lot of people treat the game almost as a full release right now, it's still technically not released yet, and there's a whole lot more to come. Talk to us a little bit about what's in store.
So we have, our focus at the moment is to sort of stabilize the game, get the servers up to spec, but also we have, 2D, 3D replays planned for in-game replays. We have new weapons coming every month. So yeah, no, but our current focus is really just get the game competitive and stable.
So suddenly fences are no longer the most impossible object in the game. You can climb over them now.
Yeah. So our content programmer Marek, he's done a really great job getting this system to be dynamic. So it doesn't matter what object you're in front of, you'll jump or vault over it.
Yeah, so in terms of jumping and vaulting, is it... Yeah, vaulting. Is it sort of, when you say that it's dynamic, does this mean that the taller the obstacle, the more difficult it is to climb over?
Yeah, exactly, and it has different animations for each different thing, so vaulting, climbing. Now we also have weather, so.
One of my favorite aspects, of course, is the rain map in the game. Walk me through what we're seeing here.
So this is our new weather settings. This is fog. You just saw clear day. Our rain has been tweaked a little bit as well. And we also have our sunset coming in. So this really, I'm really happy with how this turned out. It's quite beautiful. Yeah.
And what is the impact on gameplay of these types of things with weather?
It just changed dynamic. Oh, so this is...
Oh, a new gun.
Yes. This is the OTS Groza. It's a 7.62 bullpup. Super powerful, crate only. Yeah, it's going to be a beast.
Is it a short range, long range? Where's
short to medium, it's going to be a beast. It's going to be super powerful, and then long range, it'll work as well.
And I remember before you came on the show, I asked, why did you put that gun in? And I think your answer was,
it just looks cool.
It looks cool.
Yeah. It's like we wanted to add a bullpup, and we wanted to add something else to the 7.62 class, and this is a Spetsnaz weapon. Yeah, it just looks great.
It looks cool, as good as a reason as any, honestly. I want to come back to the weather effects. Obviously, they look beautiful. What are some of the impacts that you've seen on the gameplay with the new weather effects?
Well, it's just going to change the way you play. So it's not necessarily going to be, you're going to be sniping all the time. You know, with the foggy weather, you're going to have to choose a more kind of CBQ type play style. But it's just, again, to give you a bit of variety and make every game kind of different.
You've talked a little bit about what we've seen in the video, but talk to me about long term. What's far down the line for PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds?
So again, we want to finish out the platform and make it a good platform for all kind of game modes. You know, we will have modding down the line as well. Yeah, and it's just creating a stable platform. That's our aim here.
I understand that you're also working on new maps.
Yeah, so we have 2 new maps coming, one based in Peru, a desert map with sort of ruined cities with sandstorms and stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then this other one in the Adriatic, so it has even a ruined cosmodrome in the center of the map with like snowfall, and I'm excited.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I know that you've been super involved with the community of regular players. What's in store for those people playing the game right now?
So as I said, we have our custom games. We have the 3D replays, which I'm really excited about because it allows you to watch your match back in the engine with a free cam and slow motion and stuff like that.
Which is great for content creators.
Exactly, right? So you can
content creators, yeah.
Yeah, and it'll just give you a new way to create like machinimas and stuff like that within the game.
Yeah. And the last thing I want to bring up, because you were mentioning this a lot before you came on, you have all sorts of stability and performance fixes incoming.
Yeah, so like our focus this month is on our server performance and really getting that stable, because at the moment the servers aren't performing the best they could. But you know, so last month our team's focus was on client performance, and we improved that broadly for a lot of people. And this month it's on server, so they've already found a lot of things to fix, and I'm excited.
That's great. I'm sure players will completely stop blaming anything on the game at that point.
Right.
They will accept responsibility for those losses then. Well, to PlayerUnknown himself, Brendan, thank you so much for coming out to talk about it. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, everyone.
As we get ourselves set up for the next game, we're going to head to the mezzanine with Sonia for a little bit of a giveaway.
Thank you, Sean. Sean is pretty cool, right? But you know what's a little bit cooler? A free PC. We're going to be giving away a badass PC from our friends at Intel. This bad boy is going to be rocking an i7 7700K processor. There's a lot of 7s in there, and it's going to be running a NVIDIA GTX 1080. It is worth more than $2,500, so if you want a chance to win, head over to PCGamingShow.com/giveaway and put in your information. Good luck, and back to you, Sean.
Thank you, Sonia. And I am pretty cool, right? Jesus, thanks, audience. Woo! I didn't realize you could pinpoint the exact time and date a career died, but we still have all sorts of great stuff in store for you. Our next guest you may recognize from PC gaming shows past. Tripwire Interactive is back with a slew of games to talk about, and I'm joined by creative director Bill Monk. Pleasure to have you, Bill.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
Good to have you back.
Thank you, thank you.
As always.
All right.
You guys have been busy. Congratulations on the recent release of Rising Storm 2.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a realism FPS. We just released it 2 weeks ago, and the fan reaction's been really positive. Really happy about that, and we want to thank everyone who was part of the beta phases that helped shape the game in a real positive way. And be sure to check out the Trello boards, see what we're up to, and we're actually already really busy working on some new content, so stay tuned.
That's amazing. I mean, I know so many people know you from Killing Floor 2, but especially this year, there's so much to talk about. I mean, last year you announced Killing Floor, Incursion, the VR Killing Floor. How's that been going?
Oh, that's been going awesome. You know, Incursion's one of the second phase, game or second wave games to come out for VR, and we've learned a lot. And we're really, really excited. We think we have one of the best products that's going to come out later this year. It's scary as hell. You can play it
I don't know if I could handle
single player and co-op, and we're really excited to release it. So stay tuned on that.
That's awesome. Now, the big thing I know you wanted to talk about today was a little bit of content coming down the line for your big game, Killing Floor 2. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, when we released Killing Floor 1, one of the things that really put us on the map was our time seasonal events.
Right.
And when we released Killing Floor 2, people were always clamoring and asking, you know, well, when are you guys going to do that for Killing Floor 2?
Reasonable enough?
Well, we're super happy to announce the Summer Sideshow coming out this year.
Well, I'm eager to show everyone this footage. This trailer makes me laugh every time. Let's go ahead and take a look at Killing Floor 2's Summer Sideshow.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tragic Kingdom Amusement Park. Come on down and play Find Minnie Pukey, Feed the Pound, Dunk the Float, and Pop the What? Was that a real head? Trade for festive clown makeup, colorful hats, and dozens of other items. Carnival rewards are only available for a limited time. See the adorable pinhead and marvel at the mighty strong pound. What is wrong with him? Hear the bearded beauty, the siren from Fiji. I think I'm gonna be sick. Backed by popular demand. Come see Pukey the Clown and the Monkey Man. Why does the monkey have a chainsaw? Find romance in the Tunnel of Love. Swing on the Queen of Chains. Look at the... Ow! Scream on Pound Mountain! Oh, but that's not safe! See the death-defying fire stunts of Dr. Infernum's Pyrotechnic Emporium! Is he actually on fire? Why is that person on fire? Earn new achievements and triumph a new HC-12 shotgun and tactical lever-action rifle! Why do you need a shotgun at a carnival? I don't care, it's unlockable! Why does the carnival cleanup crew need hazmat suits? No, I'm done. This is a horror show. I'm getting out of here. If you can hear this, run!
Warning. News and outbreaks and variants and behavior detected. Be alert for new challenges, modes, and threats in the weekly outbreaks.
I mean, I know it's a horror theme, but there's some great humor in this.
Oh yeah, I mean, seasonal events are definitely the most fun to work on. I mean, it's just, we can just go crazy and go goofy. You know, we got clowns.
You got the monkey that bangs the cymbal with a chainsaw instead.
Midgets on stilts, bearded ladies. You know, we got it all.
Tell me a little bit about what is the gameplay? What's some of the stuff that people can experience in the Summer Sideshow?
So it's a limited time event. It's only going to last for 1 month. So all this crazy stuff you're seeing here, it's 1 month. And there's over 50 cosmetic items that people can gain from playing it totally free. All the Zeds have been replaced. All the voices have been redone. We also have mini games that are, thrown out throughout the map.
I saw the carnival games right at the start of the trailer.
Yep. We've also got 2 new weapons that we're introducing. And we also have this other mode that we're really excited about. It's the weekly outbreak.
Yeah, I saw the weekly outbreak at the end of the trailer. What's the weekly outbreak about?
So each week, new gameplay mode comes out with new challenges for the player. We have one, it's starting out with a Cranium Cracker, and that's a headshot only mode. And
So
then
no
we have
damage unless it's headshot.
Yeah, exactly. And then we have another one called Tiny Terror, where every time you shoot a Zed, they actually shrink. They become like little like midget Zeds, which is really crazy. And whenever the players get hit, they shrink too.
Oh, really?
So, I mean, that's just 2 of them. We have 8 total, and it's over 2 months worth of content. And if they're really hard to beat, but if you beat it, you get really cool, like, precious items and stuff like that.
So, of course, I have to ask, when can people play it?
Actually, you can play it tomorrow, and it's free on Steam all week.
Easy.
Yep. So you got no excuse not to try it.
Well, I mean, what if people are here at E3?
Oh, well, they can play it here too.
Oh, boy, that was
tomorrow.
a setup on my part.
Right.
Yeah, whereabouts is it at on the E3 floor?
That's at the PC Gamer Show.
Oh, that's
Booth,
right. It's at
yep.
the PC Gaming Show booth. We have our own booth here at E3.
Yes.
Oh, I'm glad that 2 of you are
Yep.
very excited to hear that.
The first of many, right? This is going to
Yes.
become a tradition.
Indubitably.
Yeah.
I'm not in charge of the budget, so yes, of course. Well, I want to say, Bill, thank you so much for coming out. Congrats
Absolutely,
on
man.
all the projects and the progress. Bill Monk from Tripwire
Thanks, Ben.
Interactive.
Thank you.
Cheers. Let's head back up to the mezzanine for a little bit of social with Sonia.
This year's PC Gaming Show is being broadcast on more platforms than ever before. We are on Steam, we are on Facebook and Twitch and Mixer. We are all over the place. This is awesome. And guys, if you're on Mixer, you gotta sweet talk the mods a little bit. Be kind of nice to them because they're gonna be giving away games throughout the entire show. Unfortunately, no free games for day 9, but sorry. Back to you, Sean.
I'll happily buy them. Yay, video games! Now, if any of you got the chance to see the conferences leading up to today, there's a lot of exciting stuff going on. In particular, Microsoft has had a whole slew of games people are pumped for, including some that are going to be at this show, starting with the first ever incarnation of Forza Motorsport coming straight to PC. It's Forza Motorsport 7. Joining me to talk about it is the creative director of Forza Motorsport from Turn 10, Bill Giese. Come here, Bill.
How's it going?
Yeah, Bill, congratulations.
Thank you.
The announcement yesterday must have been really exciting for you guys.
Huge announcements. We revealed a car to the world.
Not an in-game car, a
No,
car.
an actual car. That's normally saved for car shows like Geneva and Paris.
Yeah.
We revealed a car here at E3, the Porsche 911 GT2 RS, to the world yesterday. It was awesome.
You know, I've gotten the chance to play the previous Forza Motorsport games, and they always struck me as a racing game not focused on being cartoonish or strapping guns to the car. It's about hyper-realistic racing.
Forza Motorsport is about precision, it's about competition, and we've rebuilt Forza Motorsport 7 from the ground up to really recreate that feeling of driving a car at peak. The cars, we have over 700 cars. Every single one of them, they're going to rattle and shake. It's going to scare the crap out of you.
What are some of the things that you've done to bring that experience to PC?
Well, going to PC has been awesome. Not only will it have mouse and keyboard support, but with multi-USB, we have every fan-requested wheel on the market. And it's been exciting for the team.
That's a lot of USB
It's a lot
devices.
of wheels, let me tell you. And we've been testing that. Last week alone, we brought in any USB device we had, and we played on a Guitar Hero guitar and a DDR pad. Now, you're not going to do that, obviously.
That's
but
not how
that's
real
not-
racing
racers do
works.
it.
That's not the hyper-realistic part.
But whatever you have in your closet, plug it in, you're ready to go.
Now, what about for low-end PCs? There's obviously a lot of people who are on budget devices. I mean, what about for them? What's the optimization been like?
Well, it's been great going to the high end of 4K, unlock frame rate, 21:9, but we've
Yeah.
also lowered our min spec as well to include i5. And no matter where you play, it looks and plays great.
And speaking of looking and playing great, you're here at E3, and I understand you have some out-of-control rigs that people can actually play the games on.
Absolutely. Come by the show. We've got 2 hydraulic rigs in 4K on Ultra 4K PCs.
Hydraulic rigs? You didn't tell me that.
Yeah, bring a vomit bag and come on, check it out. It looks awesome.
Well, awesome. Bill, thanks so much for sharing with us.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
I'm incredibly excited of all the stuff Microsoft's doing. You just got the chance to look at Forza, and now coming onto the stage, I am replacing Bill with Ted Timmons. He's the PC design lead at Rare to talk about Sea of Thieves. Come on out, Ted.
Hey, Sean.
Ted Timmons.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome. It's a pleasure. So, Ted, talk to me a little bit about what is Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, so we feel like we've made the pirate game you've always wanted. When you think about sailing around the open seas, you and your crew of crewmates Basically, it's Pirates of the Caribbean meets the Goonies.
What are some of the things that you're showcasing here at E3 in the game?
Yeah, so for anyone who didn't see the briefing yesterday, we showed off great new features like riddle map storms and firing yourself out of cannons.
A common pirate pastime.
Yeah, pretty known.
Now, I had to ask the same question to Forza Motorsport. What are some of the things, some of the features that you've added in to focus on the PC experience?
Yeah, so we've got things like 4K, unlocked frame rates, everything you expect, but we've also brought our gameplay footage in 21:9 as well, my personal favorite.
Your favorite resolution,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
one of the top 3 favorite resolutions
Yeah,
of
it's probably
yours?
there with 32:9 and 16:9 as well, probably.
So, tell me a little bit more about the PC version. Obviously, it's probably a challenge to try to develop for 2 different devices at once.
Yeah, so we decided to change our approach to the game. We're actually building both versions in parallel because we felt that's how we deliver the same game on the same day.
So it's not a port from one device to the other.
Correct, yeah. We felt it was really important just to build them together from the very beginning.
Just one single code path.
One single code path, yeah.
Awesome. Well, I know a whole lot of people here are curious to get their chance to play it. Is there an official release date or an opportunity for them to play it?
Yeah, so we're coming to both platforms in early 2018, but right now we have a technical alpha. You're welcome to come sign up. We have thousands of PC players playing already. So yeah, come join us, seaofthieves.com.
Once again, Ted Timmons.
Awesome, thank you very
from
much.
Rare, thank you.
Cheers, guys.
seaofthieves.com. Now, this next title is one I'm personally very, very excited about, given the fact that when I took one look at the trailer, the striking visual style just grabbed me. It's an evolution of cyberpunk, a game called The Last Night. Here to talk about it is the creative director at Odd Tales. Join me in welcoming Tim Sauret.
Hello,
Pleasure,
Sean.
Tim.
Hello.
Welcome.
Pleasure for me.
Thanks for coming out. Let's ask the obvious question. What is The Last Night?
The Last Night is what we call a cinematic platformer, which means it's not a game like Mario where you have to jump from platform to platform, but it's more story-driven. It's more reminiscent of old classics like Another World, Flashback, or Oddworld even.
Oddworld, I was going to say, it reminded me quite a bit about it. And I saw that you guys had the big announcement reveal at Microsoft yesterday. I mean, that trailer was such a hit. It blew up. What was that like for you guys?
Yeah, we are obviously super happy with the trailer reception. It's been absolutely incredible. Now, of course, I have some concerns I want to address. I am embarrassed by some tweets I made in the past. I want to apologize for those. They do not in any way represent who I am today or what The Last Night will be about.
Well, let's talk about what the game is about. I know that the setting of The Last Night is super important to the character of the game. Tell me, where are we right now?
I want you to imagine a world where machines are surpassing us in every possible way.
Right.
So not only physically, but also intellectually, emotionally, even creatively.
So in a sense, like any job that you could possibly imagine, an AI does better.
Absolutely.
Including being a host for a PC gaming show.
Including that.
Well, I imagine, thank you, this one person who is also excited about the booth. Now, in terms of this world, this must give a kind of sense of existential crisis to all the inhabitants.
Yeah, like the way I can...
Like, what is it like to be a person in this world?
So, in a world where you're not valuable anymore in production, the only thing you can really do is to consume endlessly, right? So what you're trying to see with this game is how do you define yourself, when you don't have anything to create or to strive for.
Yeah, and I can see, obviously there's the futuristic lighting and the visuals, but there's also that sort of drab, dreary tone. This art style is amazing. I mean, all of these assets are in 2D, but it has so many modern effects. How did you even think of this?
So it all comes down to my background in VFX and advertising, basically. So I wanted to, explore what I could do with 2D and pixel art, and just augment that and enrich it with like modern techniques of lighting and compositing.
Right. And we've talked a little bit about where we are, about the art style. Who are you? Who do you play as in The Last Night?
Yeah, so the character you get to play is a young idealist, I would say.
Yeah.
And because of a childhood accident, he cannot enjoy the same gamified, augmented life than everybody else.
Right.
So because of that, he wants to change the world. And
you want to have like an impact and a meaning.
Absolutely. So on his way to do that, he's going to meet some questionable characters you have to trust or not on your way.
What about the gameplay? What are the things that, if I'm the player, what do I do in The Last Night?
So we took inspiration from some classic genre like point and click and adventure games. But so you get, to solve puzzles and dialogues, of course, but we added a real-time component to it.
Real-time in what sort of sense? What makes it a real-time puzzle?
So it means that while you are busy breaking in an apartment, for instance, all the simulation is still happening around you. So police come around, and you have to be careful about that.
So in a sense, like if I tried to break into the apartment at night, the police might be on patrol at that time, but if I came in the morning, there might be no police, but the resident might be home.
Absolutely, yeah. So that means that, if you see the police coming around the corner, you better, just hide, pretend to be a hobo, or maybe draw your gun.
You also mentioned that the structure of the game is in one night after the other. What's that like?
Yeah, so the game is structured around several nights, so it spans on several nights, and they are all interconnected, which means that what you tell people on the very first night, and what you do also is all remembered.
So if I'm just in a conversation and just walk away in the middle of it?
Yeah, they will remember it.
They'll remember, like 2 days later, they'll be
absolutely.
angry.
Yeah.
That's fast. That must add a huge amount of replayability since the world is just changing based upon your
we're taking a lot
inputs.
of pleasure to hide a lot of stuff in the city, and we hope the community will have fun to figure and get that out collectively. So, yeah.
Well, again, I love the art style. I love these story-driven adventure games. Thank you so much, Tim.
Thank you, Sean.
I'm looking forward to it. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.
Once again, that's oddtales.net for more information about The Last Night. Now, this next game surprised me. I'm sure it will surprise you because of its style. It's from the makers of Arma, the realistic military simulator, and DayZ, the zombie survival game. This one has a much more playful tone, though. Let's look at the next title from Bohemia Interactive.
It was the mother of all storms. But somehow I just knew everything was going to be... Well, being stranded on a desert island is a lot of fun. You get to meet new friends. You get in shape. And you learn how to craft. And because it's your land, it won't take long before you call that place a home. But that's just the beginning, because here, you can do anything. Islands. Explore your creativity. Visit us at islands.com.
Here to join me to talk about Islands is the creative director from Bohemia Interactive. It's Alish Ulm. Welcome, Alish. It's a pleasure to have you here. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Sean.
What kind of game is Islands?
Okay, so Islands is a sandbox game about survival and exploration, but at the same time, in Islands, you can create your own games, your own adventures, just like the ones we've shown in the video.
Yeah.
Actually, Islands stands for your lands that you create, where you make the rules.
And it's almost like a sandbox game, not where you're necessarily building a structure, but you're trying to build an experience.
Yes, exactly.
And I have to ask, given the fact that the style of it contrasts so sharply with Arma and DayZ, what is it about Islands that still makes it a Bohemia game?
Yeah, we get this a lot, but actually beneath the surface, there are still the core values that make up a Bohemia game.
Yeah.
It's still about exploration and finding out how things work, about creativity and imagination. And just like Arma or DayZ, we're trying to create a platform to connect players with each other when they play online or when they create something new and share it with the community.
And I know that modding is a legendary part of Bohemia's history. What are some of the lessons that you've learned from Arma, learned from DayZ, and brought to modding in Islands?
Well, we have our own editor. It's not a standalone application. It's a part of the game.
Oh, really? I mean, I'd assume that it was just outside like all other editors.
No, we would like players to be able to prototype their creations really quickly.
Yeah.
And so in the editor, the players can obviously create something new, but they can also decide to open and modify existing games, ones that we created or ones that other players made for them.
Yeah, I mean, we got the chance to see some scenarios in the initial trailer. Like, those are the ones that you're referring to.
Yep.
That is fantastic. I mean, tell me a little bit about what it is that we're seeing right here on screen.
Well, this is just some random multiplayer game. There are two guys. Initially, there were three. I think one just like fell down the bridge. They are trying to get some kind of treasure, and yeah, they are setting the explosives.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I want to ask about, I know you guys are here at E3. Hey, look, it's the treasure. I know you guys are here at E3. What are some of the things that players can get their hands on at this event?
Well, we'll be showing some of the games that we created with the Islands game editor, but at the same time, we'll be showing how they can use the editor to create those games.
That's awesome. And I mean, I know there's a way for people to play right now, is that right?
Yeah, actually, they can already play the alpha version of the game. It's available as a part of our Bohemia incubator program. They can find more information on our website, islands.com. And later this year, we are coming to Steam Early Access.
That's awesome. And remember, that's islands.com with a Y. We're good. You can remember that. So I want to say, Alish, thank you so much for coming out to talk about Islands. It's been a pleasure. And of course, I hope you're as excited as I am to come up with some total nonsense when I sit down to play. Our next world exclusive is going to be up in the mezzanine with Sonia.
Thank you, Sean. I am so honored to be a part of this world-exclusive reveal from developers Klei. You might recognize their name from games like Don't Starve or Don't Starve Together for lonely folk like myself. And last year at the PC Gaming Show, they actually revealed their sci-fi colony sim game, Oxygen Not Included. And this year, they are back. And they are back with a bang. And I am so excited to reveal their upcoming sci-fi RPG game. It is called Griffland.
I absolutely love Klei games and can't wait the chance to try Grifflands. Now, this next title is an interesting one because I'm not someone who plays many VR games, but I got a chance to check this one out several months ago, and I was immediately hooked, so I can't wait to talk about it with the creative director from Ready at Dawn. It's Rue Virasuria to talk about Lone Echo. Welcome, Rue.
Thank you.
It's good to have you here. Now, Rue.
Yeah.
I've gotten the chance to play Lone Echo, but a lot of people here maybe haven't seen it or heard of it. Just walk us through what is the game.
So the game, the Lone Echo, is a single-player experience in VR where you play a cybernetic AI on a mining station in the rings of Saturn, and basically in the game you're allowed to move in zero-G freely. You can interact with everything inside the environment, and also you'll see that you have an NPC that you can interact with. You can use your hands basically to go everywhere you need to go.
This was the thing that was so amazing for me. You stand still and then you use your arms to grab onto objects in the environment to push and pull yourself around. And it was really amazing to move that way. I've never seen this before.
Exactly. I mean, that's basically where the genesis of the project was. We built the mechanic to build the game. So the mechanic was this idea that came from watching ISS space station astronauts, moving around. And we just basically made this motion that allows you to navigate using your hands just like you would use your legs.
So it's been a few months since I got the chance to play. What's been happening in terms of the single player? Here you got some fancy new voice actors lined up.
Yeah, we did actually. When we wrote the story for it, we actually had an actor in mind, somebody that a lot of people out there know, Troy Baker, and Troy decided to take on the role for the AI.
And of course, another thing that we get the chance to talk about is the multiplayer component to Lone Echo called Echo Arena. Rue, how does this game work?
Basically, it's a futuristic VR sport where you play, 10 people play in 2 different teams to get a disc inside each other's goals.
Now, you might be a little bit confused as to how exactly that works, but don't worry. We're going to take an even closer look at what the gameplay is like for Echo Arena.
In zero gravity, players fly faster. Passes go farther. Strikes hit harder. Stakes get higher. And victory tastes sweeter. This is Zero G in the Echo Arena.
Anomaly detected. What the hell? Jack, are you seeing? Oh, Jack, cut the panel. That's it.
We are up here with Echo Arena in action as some of the Ready at Dawn developers are playing against each other. So, Doug, welcome back. Hello.
Thank you.
It's awesome to have you. But listen, before we get into VR, I really wanted you to tell me a little bit more about the Grand Slam event.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that. I'm a big sports fan. So tennis, golf, rugby, they have their Grand Slam. Now we have it at esports. So with Intel, ESI, and DreamHack, we now have our Grand Slam, which is really exciting.
That's awesome. That's exciting. So I'd like to know a little bit more about Intel's involvement with this game.
You know, we've been involved working closely with the best VR developers for a long time, and I'm excited to work with Ready at Dawn as they're delivering the next second-generation VR game. They've been an ideal partner to enhance that experience to scale to the most performant CPUs like the i7 and i9.
That's amazing. So I was really excited to hear about your announcement earlier.
Yeah, Ready at Dawn, Intel, and Oculus, we announced that Intel is sponsoring a free release of Echo Arena to all Oculus Rift users when it launches on July 20th for a limited time. And this is because we want as many users as possible on this system. We want to ensure that everyone, including these guys behind us, the gamers behind us as you see, that they try and experience the future of VR and esports.
So speaking of esports, I would really love to hear more about Intel's involvement with esports.
Intel has a long history as a leader in esports. We worked with companies like ESL for the Intel Extreme Masters. And we're excited about Echo Arena and the growth of VR esports. And that's why we're expanding our partnership with ESL and Oculus to launch the VR Challenge League. It kicks off in July, and it features Echo Arena and the Unspoken. And it gives esports enthusiasts the opportunity to compete in VR at key upcoming events, with the finals happening in Poland in 2018 at the Intel Extreme Masters.
Okay, well that sounds kind of awesome. Well, thank you, Doug. I cannot wait to play this game. It's going to be coming out July 20th, and you can pre-order it right now, and Rift owners can actually try the open beta on June 23rd. So back to you, Sean.
Thank you, Sonia. And once again, I got the chance to play Lone Echo, and I want to stress, you just have to play it. The single-player experience is especially mind-blowing. So once again, that's Lone Echo. Our next guest announced a game 2 years ago under the title Project Blue Streak, and we now know it as Lawbreakers. Here to talk about not just gameplay, but cold, hard dates is the CEO of Boss Key Productions himself, Cliff Bleszinski. Welcome to the stage.
Thanks for having me, man. Yes.
Now, Cliff, I know that you guys in the past have been doing a lot of alphas and betas. How have those been going?
They've been going well. The alpha, it was all right. And then the first beta was good. The second beta was great. We're doing our final closed beta June 28th. If you have a key, sign on to Steam, download the latest update. And then we're doing our Rise Up event, which is a full open beta June 30th. Hop online, play the game, let us know what you think.
And I got to ask what it has been like to have people play the game, to give feedback in those betas. How has that shaped the experience?
Well, a lot of developers and publishers, they do these kind of bullshit marketing betas where they're like, oh, it's our beta and the game's out next week. I'm like, that's not really the case. You're not going to be able to fix anything. So for our game, we found that the Rommers shotgun was way too spammy. Overcharge wasn't that exciting, so we sped that up a little bit, and we sped up the characters. We took actual feedback, and we're integrating it into the game.
And these are more than just balance changes. I imagine that speeding up the pace of things creates a pretty different balance dynamic across the board.
Yeah, I mean, you change one thing, it's the butterfly effect. It affects everything else. And is the game going to be balanced on launch? No. That's why we need people's feedback. Play the game, see what characters are overpowered, underpowered, and then we'll introduce new characters and reshuffle the deck.
And I know that it can't be in beta forever, so Cliff, tell us when it's out.
Can I get a drum roll?
Audience, go! Do a thing!
So the game is finally dropping on August 8th on PC and PlayStation 4.
Oh, that's soon.
$29.99, none of that $60 multiplayer only bullshit.
And if you didn't see it online, Cliff took a bow. Yes, $29.99.
Curtsy.
Well, if you haven't gotten the chance to see the game and follow it throughout the recent PC gaming shows, let's take a look at some people who got the opportunity to play live.
As we're flying around in zero gravity, you know, it's kind of a new situation for us. How do you keep up with your tank and protect them and heal them, also protect your healer and peel off them while DPS is still being affected and they're being supported? It gets crazy very quickly.
The gravity is the biggest thing because that adds so much verticality, and you combine the different movement systems of each character where some characters have teleports and some characters have dashes. This gets really wild and insane.
Now literally anywhere you look is potentially an attack point.
I am literally under the map, saving myself from a grappling hook, whipping myself into the air, shooting at anyone below.
You need to check every possible corner. People are going to fly you with jetpacks, they're going to fly at you with swords, you're going to have
someone that could just jet up in the sky, and all of a sudden now you have to worry about getting up there.
There's some abilities that I just haven't seen before.
Medic role is actually phenomenal. Well, it's battle medic, they call it. So it's not one of those medics where you have to sit back. It's not even a thankless role anymore because I'm out there slaying, killing with the rest of my team while keeping them alive.
Wraith's got a really good one. With the slide and then the jump into 0G, that's great. Getting like through the map that fast is ridiculously fun.
I've been using the Vanguard to drift off the side, so I've been coming up behind the enemy. It took like 3-4 rounds before they caught on.
With the gunslinger, he's a very precision character, so just spinning around and popping someone in the head real quick, it feels great.
The game is just aggressive all the time.
And this game gives you so much variety of motion.
I never felt more tested.
It makes you think in a completely different way.
The fastest speed I've ever seen in my life. Crazy when you're playing it.
Just as a reminder, that Ballin' Intel PC is still up for grabs. Don't miss out if you forgot. This bad boy is running an i7 7700K processors, a lot of 7s in there, and an NVIDIA GTX 1080. It's worth more than $2,500. You do not want to miss out. Head over to PCGamingShow.com/giveaway and put in your information. I think it could run Crysis at max settings. What do you think, Sean?
I think it can, Sonia. And I also think that it can run our next title. I am a master of transition. Our next game is from Chucklefish, the wonderful folks who helped bring you Stardew Valley and Starbound. Let's take a look at their upcoming game, Wargroove. War Groove. Today, we're not just going to get a chance to talk about the game, but we will be seeing the editor in action, a live demo on stage. I'm joined by Jay Bayless and Doris Karaskotza from Chucklefish. Welcome, it's so great to have you.
Thanks.
Well, I want to say right away, the gameplay reminded me quite a bit of Fire Emblem and Advance Wars.
Yeah, Fire Emblem and Advance Wars are definitely kind of inspirations of ours. You know, Wargroove is a turn-based tactical strategy game. It's a game about starting to build up your resources every mission and push forward into your enemy territory and just kind of dominate the map and make the right choices. But yeah, we've got a lot of unique kind of gameplay mechanics. We're bringing it into the modern age. We've got online play, mod support, and kind of content creation as well.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we're going to get the chance to look at today. Doris, who's operating the PC right now, tell us what it is we're looking at.
So what we're looking at today is the world map of Wargroove, and this is our campaign editor. So these are the tools we use in-house to create Wargroove campaigns, and we're shipping them with the game so players can create their own scenarios. So I've been placing down map markers, and each of those represent a mission. And then you link them together to create the path through your campaign.
And I know that one of the things you wanted to talk about was the branching path element.
Yeah, so you can have branching path, obviously. And the cool thing with that is every branch can have conditions. So for example, let's say you get a high score in a mission, and that could lead you through a harder path in your campaign.
Or you could have a secret path that triggers based on some event in the mission.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's hop into one of the missions and get that one started. And Jay, walk me through what it is that we're taking a look at.
So yeah, this is our map editor. This is like straight drawing tiles straight into the battle screen. You know, it's really simple to use, really understandable immediately. You can just kind of draw those tiles straight in there and drop in the full range of units. Doris is dropping in a commander right now.
What are the commander units about? Talk to me about that.
So the commanders are kind of integral to the strategy of Wargroove. You have this unit that kind of represents like the king and queen in chess at the same time. They have unique abilities and act as your avatar in battle, and they're really powerful, so you can kind of push forward really heavily with them. But there's a lot of risk-reward in there as well, because if you actually lose that unit, then you actually lose the game.
Oh, that's what you mean by the king comparison.
Absolutely,
it's both your power unit and the queen, but your loss condition is the king.
Yeah, and other tools include you can drop down buildings right now. We've dropped in some HQs. Those are kind of like your base of operations, and to take the opponent's HQ is to win the match.
Yeah.
But on top of like kind of simple and easy to use tools, we've also got more advanced tools. So you can use this zone tool right here, and you can highlight an area and assign like a scripted encounter or sequence to that.
Okay, so you know, if I step into that forest, someone can pop out and attack me.
Yeah, you could have bandits jump out and attack you from the woods. And the really cool thing about that is that that actually ties back into the campaign map we saw earlier. So maybe that will trigger a condition. Maybe after encountering those bandits, your story takes a different turn and you decide to go into the forest to fight more of them, and so on.
Now, Doris, what is the process to go from this map to a playable game?
So it's very simple, like as simple as sharing the map, actually. So you can just share your map, and if you want more content, just go online and download map, and everything is just one click, basically.
And there it is. So let me actually take a step over to this timer here. It has been 3 minutes, and we have gotten the chance to design a campaign map, end a mission, and get it playable. That is incredibly fast. Jay, Doris, I want to thank you both so much for coming out to talk about this game today. Cheers, guys, and thanks for coming.
Thank you.
For full coverage of every video, announcement, and moment from the PC Gaming Show, visit PCGaming.com.
The next game that we get the opportunity to talk about is the sequel to Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. It's Middle-earth: Shadow of War that has an officially announced release date. Guys, it's October 10th. Here to talk to me about it is Michael DePlater, the Vice President of Creative at Monolith. What is up, Michael?
Hey, thank you very much. Thanks for the chair.
Hell yeah. Well, the chair is a nice break from all that grueling standing. And it gives us to do one of the most iconic things in PC gaming, this posture.
There.
Thank you. Now, we've heard about the October 10th release date. What are some of the things that have been changing and building upon Shadow of Mordor in terms of Shadow of War?
I think what we've tried really hard to do, although it seems pretty obvious, is take the things that were good, that worked in the first game, so our combat and the Nemesis system and this world that we'd created, and to build on that, but also to take the lessons we learned in the first game and really improve those. So really make this into a truly epic fantasy that's kind of up there with if you go and see Return of the King or Lord of the Rings, and really focusing on the story and the characters as well.
I mean, you've been talking all throughout about how important story is in Shadow of War. What does that mean in terms of the work that you're doing?
It means paying off the epic scale, so having these titanic full-scale battles. It means the stakes of the story, so we're facing the most iconic and powerful villains, you know, Sauron and the Witch King and the Nazgul. And it means having these incredibly memorable and personal characters, so allies and enemies that you're working with.
And in terms of E3, what are the types of things that you're showcasing here that people can see?
Oh, the reason we're really excited for E3 is two things. People being able to get their hands on the game and play it. And also that we're going to be giving demos of the game, but because of the Nemesis system, every single demo we give, we have no idea what's going to happen.
That's awesome.
We don't know which orcs or which characters are going to turn up, which stories are going to happen. So every single time people go and see the demo, they're going to see something new, and so are we. And because of that, we really wanted to share that, not just at E3, but for anyone who wants to tune in and watch those demos as well.
Yeah, and of course, you see all the information for how to watch those online throughout the entire duration of E3. I know that in a moment, we're going to get a chance to delve a little bit more into those story bits with a unique cinematic based on one of the characters that was in the trailer. Can you introduce her for us, Eltariel?
Yeah, so she's one of the new characters we're introducing into the world and into our story, Eltariel. She's the Blade of Galadriel. So she's essentially an assassin that's been sent to Mordor to hunt down the Nazgul and to hunt down anyone corrupted by a ring of power. And you, as Talion, are running around Mordor wielding a ring of power. So there's some interesting tension in that relationship with her, but she's this awesome character, and as well as that, she gets her own fully playable campaign in our first major story DLC as well, which is the Blade of Galadriel.
Well, before we hop into that, I just want to say, Michael, thanks so much for coming on to talk about Shadow of War. We talked about how important story is to Shadow of War, so let's take a little bit of a look at 2 minutes of the cinematic, Eltariel meeting Talion.
So it is true.
You killed me.
And yet you live. What is that like, to die and live again? Do you feel pain? Do you suffer?
What of the city? Of the Palantir?
The Nazgul have taken both. They belong to the Dark Lord now.
Then I have failed.
What if you keep fighting?
He wields the light of Galadriel. He can recover the ring.
Your rings are the cause of all this, Elf Lord.
You can see him.
I see him.
Who are you?
I'm the Blade of Galadriel.
Since when does Galadriel work with assassins?
Great threats make for unlikely alliances. You know this better than most. Now tell me more about this ring.
We crafted it to defeat Sauron. But it was lost.
The Nazgul will be drawn to the power of the ring.
We cannot let it fall into Sauron's hands. The light of Galadriel, give it to us!
Stay your hand! My light will protect us, but it will not leave my side.
We must move quickly.
Try to keep up.
Shadow of War. As a huge fan of Shadow of Mordor, I'm really excited to see where the story goes in the sequel. And I'm pleased to say we have one final game to announce. It's from Microsoft, and I'm not even allowed to say the name yet. So joining me to talk about said unnamed game is a creative director from Microsoft Studios, Adam Eisgreen. Welcome, Adam.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. Love being here.
Now, Adam, I understand that you've been in games for a long time.
I have. I am coming up on my 25th year making video games. So yes, you can actually make a career out of being in games. And you know, I got my start in the DOS days. Remember DOS? Like,
oh yeah, dude, I played Zork all day.
So I got my start in the DOS days doing role-playing games, D&D games. But I spent a heck of a lot of time making real-time strategy games. I was at Westwood Studios for years, working on the Command & Conquer series. Earth and Beyond, a whole bunch of great games there. Petroglyph, Universe of War, Empire at War. So a lot of history on PC, and I'm excited to get back to it.
Well, I understand that this title is an homage to those roots, and I'm still not going to tell you what it is, but I know you're curious, so let's head right in to this world-exclusive trailer. Adam. Age of Empires was the first game I ever saved up my allowance to play as a kid. I'd weed my grandma's garden all day. She'd give me like $2, and I still stayed dedicated. Tell me about Age of Empires, man.
Man, you know, nobody has been able to play this game except if they found the CD-ROMs for the last 20 years.
And what's a CD-ROM?
I know, really. These day and age, like, who even has a drive? You know, and this has been such a labor of love for us at Microsoft and our development partner at Forgotten Empires to bring back Age of Empires in such a wonderful, definitive edition so everyone can experience it.
I want to talk about all the stuff we saw in the trailer start to finish. Talk to me about the graphics. Those sprites are gorgeous.
We have redone every single asset in the original Age of Empires. Every animation, every tile set, everything that made Age of Empires great, we have carefully and lovingly taken and made even better and better.
Because I remember just watching the sprites move around in the original game. It was very blocky and stuttery.
16 facings now, so those fonts don't jitter. You know, a ton of work has gone into making the game and the presentation amazing.
What about audio?
Oh, yeah. So we've re-orchestrated and re-recorded the entire soundtrack to the game using an actual symphony this time. It sounds wonderful. The people at studios are constantly begging us to get the soundtrack already.
Now, I have to ask, there were some aspects to the gameplay back then that were a little janky. Have there been any updates to the gameplay in that regard?
Yes. So not only have we done things like improved Find Path, which is, of course, always a big thing in RTS games, we've gone in and actually modernized the UI. A lot of people forget that original Age didn't even have an idle villagers button. So all of that stuff, attack, move, all of those things that people have come to expect
Control
in RTS,
groups?
Yes, control groups.
1A.
Yep. So all of that stuff is all in the game now. So we've taken all of the learnings from the Age games that followed and brought it up to those standards.
And you know, speaking of modernization, I saw that it said Xbox Live Multiplayer, which, as you may or may not know, that is the online matchmaking service that Microsoft uses for PC games. I mean, how are you utilizing that?
Oh, well, we've completely redone how lobbies work and how games and matching works. You know, we have our friend system, of course, it's built into Xbox Live. So players should have a really amazing experience. We also have a web portal, so they can go and track progress and see their results against all the other players. So it should be a really wonderful experience to play.
And what about the beta that we saw at the end of that video?
Yes, so the game will be out later this year, but you can go right now to ageofempires.com and sign up for our multiplayer beta. You know, RTS games are really, you know, multiplayer is so important. And we want to make sure that this definitive edition of Age is the absolute best we can make it.
Right.
So, you know, multiplayer, please come, sign, play with us, make the game great.
You asked me before we hopped on that you wanted to say one more special bit, a little bit of a tease. We understand that it's the 20th anniversary of Age of Empires. What is it you wanted to say?
So, yes, Age of Empires, the whole franchise will be it's hitting its 20 mark October of this year. You know, and this is the start, here at E3 with you, is the start of the celebration of 20 years of Age of Empires. And that party is going to roll. We're going to continue that. So you're going to hear from us again in Cologne, Germany at Gamescom in August. And we're going to be having a really wonderful Age of Empires event there and talking a whole bunch about, I think, stuff you're going to want to hear.
I think I'm going to want to hear it.
Yes.
You tease. Well, let me just say, Adam, thank you
so
much for coming out. Super excited about Age of Empires. And with that, our slew of announcements comes to an end. Before we depart, let's head back up to the mezzanine with Sonia for one last hello.
Thank you, Sean. I had an amazing time being a part of some awesome game reveals and kicking it with you guys today. If you want any more information on any of the games that you saw today, go to pcgamer.com. If you want to hang out with me and check me out on the internet, at OMG It's Firefox, pretty much everywhere. I had a blast, and for one last time, back to you, Sean.
Thank you so much, Sonia. I gotta say, it was a blast. I hope you had a great time. Thank you all so much for coming out, all of you who braved LA traffic to be here in the morning, all of you who tuned in online. Thanks to our sponsors, Intel, Microsoft, Bohemia, Tripwire, Cygames, and Nexon for help making this event possible. It is an absolute pleasure to have your support. And I'd also like to give a shout out to all the developers and the publishers at their recent conferences that have been going on in the last week. We were super excited about the titles there and following them closely because we're gamers at heart, and we hope that you too enjoyed what we had to share with you today. And as crazy as it sounds, E3 starts tomorrow, so we hope that you get the chance to get your hands on some of the titles that were announced in the last week that you're pumped for. From all the folks at PC Gamer and from me, Day 9, have a wonderful day and go play some video games. We'll see you next year.
E galera, encerramos aí mais uma vez com a conferência do PC Game Show, galera, mostrando alguns jogos para PC, os que foi mostrado ontem também para Xbox One X e o Xbox One, né, que já foi visto ontem na conferência da Microsoft. Então nós voltaremos, galera, às 5 horas com a conferência da Ubisoft. Vamos ver o que a Ubisoft tem a oferecer aí para o seu público. E às 10 horas nós estaremos aí com o grande esperado conferência da Sony PlayStation. Então, galera, às 5 horas nos veremos lá na conferência da Ubisoft. Então, galera, um forte abraço, falou, tamo junto, até logo. Eu.